Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
This is Charlotte Kenyon, author of the book You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, How to Parent Your Parents. And we are speaking with Laura Oles today. She is the author of Daughters of Bad Men. Laura, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into writing?
Sure. I've always kind of written on the side for as long as I could remember, and I grew up loving to read mysteries and lots of other genres, and I wrote for the digital photography industry for about 20 years. I did some different magazine work, wrote some columns. Always loved writing, and had been writing on the side with trying my hand at mysteries. And a few years ago, I decided I was at a point in my life where I felt like I had the space where I could try to invest more time in taking it seriously and really committing to giving it a shot and putting it out there to see what I could do with it. And I took several online courses through different writing associations like Writers League of Texas here that is wonderful. And from that point, got my first book out last fall.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, did writing the short stories help you prepare for writing your novel?
I really have enjoyed writing short stories. I have 4 short stories published in anthologies. The most recent one was the Malice Domestics Mystery Most Geographical. And it's been wonderful because sometimes you have a great idea for a story, but you're not sure if it has the legs to be able to become an entire novel. Or maybe you have a character that you're not sure if they can hold a longer form of fiction. So for me, it's a wonderful way to play with those ideas to see if it sparks something larger. And certainly being able to, for me, I think being able to write a short story, there's a brevity that's required. So in terms of taking the character from beginning to end is more precise, and you really have to be disciplined in terms of not leaving anything extra in the story for the reader. So I really have enjoyed it.
Oh, that's great. And I understand you won a recent award. Can you tell us what that was like and what your reactions were when they told you won the Agatha Award?
Well, I was nominated for Best First Novel for the Agathas, which was an amazing, amazing experience. So to be in that category of talented writers, and there were so many great books that came out last year, was really quite remarkable. So I was enormously grateful to be included in that group, and the other writers in my group were fantastic to get to know. And so for me, that was very unexpected. When the board called me to let me know that I had made the list, I think the first thing I did was scream really loud and scare my family and all the pets because I just hadn't processed that was even going to be a possibility. So it was a great honor. Kelly Garrett actually won the award for Hollywood Homicide, but to be considered on that list was really just a dream come true.
That's a win in itself.
It really is. Making that list is absolutely a win. I was thrilled.
Oh, that is super.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question here that came from one of our listeners. Why did you choose to set your novel in Port Alene? Is that a fictional version of maybe Port Aransas, Texas? Yes,
it absolutely is. I have had a love affair with Port Aransas for probably a good 20 years. For us living in the Hill Country area between Austin and San Antonio, it's only a few-hour drive. I could load up the whole family. We could go for a weekend, get on the beach. That we've got some favorite restaurants and places we love to visit. There's a coffee shop there that we adore. They've been through so much, obviously, with Hurricane Harvey this last year rebuilding. But for us, it was just kind of our getaway. And every time I would go down there, I would just have these stories start to play in my mind. I would start imagining people in different experiences. And I thought that really was the most opportune way for me to spend more time in this beloved town. Now, if I can't get there very often, at least I can try to celebrate it in the books. And I needed to adjust it. I made it fictional. I preferred it to be a sibling rather than a twin because there were some things I needed from that area to be a little darker, a little bit grittier for the book to hold it. But I have loved that area and how it's kind of come about in terms of being able to write it in a book.
And is it true that some people add some of themselves in the book?
I think that's probably true. I think for me, probably the one thing that I drew upon was I had a nomadic lifestyle as a child, but for different reasons. I'm an Air Force kid.
So an Air Force brat.
Yes, exactly. So when people ask me where I'm from, I don't know how to answer that. So that there I think were some benefits and some challenges being the perpetual new kid moving from place to place growing up. So for Jamie Rush's backstory, she's had a nomadic lifestyle because of the life her parents led, and they were on the run fairly often. So I think I understood how to use that kind of always being a bit unsettled, always got one eye on where you might be going next and maybe not relaxing completely in your current environment, that I was able to use.
What can you tell us about, Jamie Rush's relationship with her family, with her partner?
Well, her family is a really challenging situation because they're small-time con artists. There's a lot of history that hasn't come out yet, which will be revealed more in the coming books. It's the first book in a series, and so she's come to a point where she really can't trust her parents, and that was one thing that I wanted to explore in the book was what happens when you can't trust your family? What is that like when they are not your safe place to come to? And so for her, she's had to fashion a family through her partner, Cookie and Ahosa, through Aaron, through a couple of other characters in the book, because the family that she was born into are just not, quite frankly, they're a danger to her if she lets them get too close to her. So what she's tried to do is take the experiences that she's had growing up and try to use those for other people's benefit. So in terms of Cookie, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, no.
No, I think in terms of Cookie has been a really popular character with readers, and I have had so much fun writing him. He's her partner. He's one of her closest friends. He is definitely, I would say, an equal in almost every capacity of their relationship, and he's probably one of 3 people that she trusts implicitly.
No. And you said that this is a part of a new series. Are you going to be our next J.K. Rowling?
Oh, no, that would be incredible, but J.K. Rowling.
Well, we would love it. We would love it. But
I would love to see that, but she's proven herself to be enormously remarkable.
Well,
I have loved the story.
We wait for it to come out in the movies. I mean, that would be...
I've had a lot of fun with these characters, I have to say. When you're writing a series, I think that's one thing that took me a while. I always knew the characters before I knew the plot of the particular book. Like, I had an idea, but the voices came to me in my head first. I usually hear dialogue before anything else, and I'm not always sure who it belongs to, but that's what comes to me first. And so for me, I knew that if I was going to write a series, they had to be people I really wanted to spend a lot of time with because it's a long commitment. So for me, I've enjoyed getting to know Jamie and Cookie, and I keep discovering other things as I'm writing. Little things come up that I didn't know that I'm having a lot of fun with for, the future books.
So you do have new books coming out. When is your next book due?
It's going to be, I think, either late this year or early 2019 because this first book came out the end of last year.
Okay. And are we going to go down a new path?
Well, the idea for this book, for the second book, the premise is, she's a skip tracer, so she finds people who usually do not want to be found. And the premise of this book is what happens when you find somebody that you should have left alone. So that's where we go into the second book. So, being a skip tracer involves, a lot. It's shown a lot of times as being a lot of work online, but actually there are an enormous amount of people skills in being in the environment, finding people, connecting with people, getting people to trust you, which is kind of the heart of the book.
Got you. Well, what have been the reaction of people who've read your book?
I have had a wonderful, wonderful time getting responses from readers, getting reviews online. The questions that people ask me, one of the things that Cookie is known for is his love of Hawaiian shirts. He's always wearing a Hawaiian shirt. And so that's been, people have had a lot of fun with that. in terms of just his personality and their relationship. So I've been most grateful for the response I've gotten because, and this sounds really odd, but when I wrote I've been writing, by myself and kind of privately for so long, I really didn't consider the fact that this book was going to be read by other people until right before my launch date. It had not really sunk, and I was like, oh, wow, like this has been my baby, and, working with my editors and such, at my publisher. But other than that, I hadn't even considered that this was going to go out in the world and people were going to have opinions on it. And that's a scary thing. That is a scary thing to put yourself out there in that way. But I thought this was the story I wanted to tell, and I was just so grateful for the response I got.
Oh, man, it's great. Well, we've been talking with Laura Oles on her latest book called Daughters of Bad Men, and we've heard a lot about Jamie Rush and the family and also her new book, and we hope you'll stay tuned with us.
In Becker Circle by Addison Brea, Jillian starts fresh with a new degree, perfect job, in her own trendy Dallas apartment. She never dreamed the second chance could threaten her dignity and her life. Watch the trailer and read more on addisonbrea.com, addisonbrae.com. Becker Circle is available on all online retailers.
Gatekeeper Press is a full-service publishing house and distribution aggregator that prides itself on offering the highest quality self-publishing services in the industry. Gatekeeper authors earn 100% of their proceeds, retain 100% of their rights, and work one-on-one with their own author manager who delivers a 100% author-centric hand-holding experience. In addition to working with individual authors, Gatekeeper Press works behind the scenes for publishers of all sizes, and due to its efficiency and quality, also white labels its service to other self-publishing companies. Gatekeeper's mission is to open Gatekeeper's mission is to open the gates of the book publishing world by offering the highest quality services at affordable prices. See our testimonial page at Gatekeeper Press mission is to open Gatekeeper's Press mission is to open the gates of the book publishing world by offering the highest quality services at affordable prices. To learn more or to read some of the testimonials, go to gatekeeperpress.com.
Texas Authors is proud to be a supporter of IndieBeacon.com, a website that supports indie authors from around the world. If you are looking for help with marketing or getting published, IndieBeacon.com can assist you. Years of experience by the founder is available to any indie author looking for help. IndieBeacon.com, a place for creative souls to find help in marketing their creations.
Do you love to read great new ebooks? Visit EBG247.com. Be the first to discover the next bestseller. At EBG247, we have the web's largest selection of great new book reads, from that amazing new fiction or nonfiction to horror, romance, and fantasy. We even have today's best children's books. That's EBG247.com. New books arrive daily, and all ebooks start at just 99 cents. If you love to read, then you'll love EBG247.com. Low prices, large selection, and an easy-to-use website. It's all only at EBG247.com.
It's time again for our 2018 4th Annual Texas Short Story Contest, sponsored by Texas Authors and EBG 247. If you have an amazing story between 1,500 and 3,000 words, visit our homepage at ebg247.com and look for the contest banner. All winning entries will be compiled and published into our 4th edition of Texas Shorts, a collection of short stories by Texas authors. Cash prizes, along with gift certificates for services, will be awarded to the winners. Proceeds benefit the Drop Everything and Read program for literacy. We are looking forward to your entry, and good luck. Entrance fee does apply.
Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
And we're back. This is Charlotte Canyon on Texas Blog Radio, and we have the pleasure of speaking with Laura Oles, and she is the author of Daughters of Bad Men. And if you haven't read it and you love a good mystery, you need to go get one. Laura, let me ask you this. Where can they buy your book? Where can they pick up your book?
Well, you can find us, of course, all your online booksellers. So there's, Amazon, Barnes & Noble online, and in some bookstores like Book People in Austin. So you can find us that way. You can also, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, so basically all the online booksellers, and then through Book People, bookpeople.com.
And you can also get it at books at txauthors.com.
Yes, you can get books at txauthors.com. How did that escape me?
I don't know.
That's one of the best places to get the book.
Yes, it's a great organization. Let me ask you this.
It's a fantastic organization. It really
is.
Yes.
What advice would you give someone who wants to write a book?
I would say probably you will never find the perfect time to write is probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give. Just from my personal experience, working, raising 3 kids, kind of a really busy schedule. You have to steal those pieces of time whenever you can get them, as opposed to just waiting for that perfect opportunity, because the perfect opportunity never comes. So, and I would also say to ignore that little voice in your head that is criticizing any little piece of anything that you're doing when you're trying to write your first draft. Just getting it on paper is just the huge accomplishment. You can always fix it, but if you don't have anything on paper, then you can't work in editing. So just get the story down.
Yeah. What I've discovered in my journey is I have to have someone that makes me accountable. So I have a coach and a mentor. And I meet with her for 2 hours every week, and she makes me accountable. And it's almost like having someone, the next week I have to submit something. And, of course, I guess you have that with your editor and all. She makes you accountable.
Yes, definitely. My editor is very good at being disciplined with me and making sure that we're on track. And I love that you're working with somebody, because I think that's really important when writing is such a solitary experience, and sometimes you use so much energy keeping yourself motivated in so many ways in your daily life that when it comes to this craft of writing and wanting to make it a priority, having some outside accountability is such a wonderful idea. So I'm glad you said that. I'm part of a group called Austin Mystery Writers, and it's a small self-critique group that came out of our local chapter of Sisters of Crime. And so it's been wonderful. So we meet once or twice a month, depending on who has pages to submit, and we give a loving and constructive critique to one another on works in process. And it really does help. It helps to be around other writers who want to talk about, whether this is the right point of view, and did you make this point? Was this a little bit too much on the nose in this scene? And those kind of things. It really is. It's very helpful to have those folks around you. I love my group.
Right. I'm a member of also a mastermind group, and we meet every other Friday online, and we help each other that way. So, yes, you're exactly right. We have to be accountable, and it also helps us. It helps us, see our books through the eyes of others.
Yes,
yes. Yeah.
It really does help a lot.
Yeah. Now, do you have any other books out there? Or I know you've written a lot of short stories, and your new book's coming out either late fall or early next year.
Yes, and I am working on another standalone thriller, and so that writing 2 books simultaneously has been fun.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
I'm trying to say that in a diplomatic way. I do love it. It's just, trying to juggle the multiple projects and, the other things that come with once you have books and projects out there that, the support that requires. So trying to keep all of that, as I call it, my own personal traveling circus here with a daughter that just graduated and twin boys who are in driver's ed and work and all those other things that we're all juggling. But I love it. I love the idea. It's been nice having 2 books, and that when you get stuck in one area, I can switch gears a little bit and go into a different world and see what that's like. So in some ways that's been helpful.
can you give us a little teaser or maybe a little excerpt from one of the new books?
I would like. Well, I can tell you that it does draw on my my background in digital photography, so I'm leveraging that experience more heavily with my protagonist, who sees something she shouldn't have, and it involves somebody very close to her, and it's still. I'm still working through some things, so.
And that's about all you can share, huh?
That's all I can. I hate to talk about things too early. I know other writers are like that also sometimes, where, as you get closer to the end, you're a little more comfortable with it. And for me, sometimes I need the ideas in my head a little bit longer because, you're writing something and you think it's going to go one way. Like I had a minor character that turned out to be really important. I was like, oh, I have to go back. Which is a lot. That's one of the great things about writing is that you get to surprise yourself sometimes, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is true.
And so you hope your readers will be surprised if you're surprised.
Well, you almost answered my next question was, what do you hope your readers will take away from reading your book? I hope it's a big, for me, I'm so thankful when people want to spend time with the characters you create because people are very busy. So for a reader to invest their time with your characters is a wonderful gift. So I want to work very hard to make sure that they enjoy that whole experience. So in terms of getting something for the reader, I want them to be, I want them to get lost in a little bit. I hope they're, it's a gritty mystery, but there's also some humor between the characters, and so to give a little lightness in some of the more difficult topics that they take on. So I hope to give them a little bit of, relief, just, some place to lose yourself a little bit from daily life. Yeah. And I hope to surprise them now and then also. I think that's really important. Well, it sounds like you're on your road to success. What would success really look like to you? What do you see in your future? What would you like to see happen?
In terms of success, I would love to be that person who has a well-read series. So for me, I would love, when people are asking for the next book, for example, I've been getting emails and requests about when the next book is coming out, which is just fantastic. And for me, if I'm able to entertain somebody for a while and have the consistency of having multiple books, consistently under my belt to bring to readers and to just enjoy that world and to keep getting better at the craft, I think those two things for me I would determine to be successful. If the readers feel like it was time well spent and they love the characters and I'm able to continue to get better and better with every book.
Yeah. How many books do you see in this series? Which Amy?
Oh, I see.
Or have you even thought that far?
I have, because I have notes for different. So there are different reveals of different parts of her life that I have sketched out through like the first 5. So so I plan on being with these folks for a little while. So Port Orleans is kind of an interesting, fun town. So I'd like to get, I'd love to go even longer than that, but at least that's where I'm seeing it right now.
So you're seeing at least 5 more, or 5 books in total in the series, but there could be more.
There could be more. Yes.
Yeah. And then you've got your other genre that you're going.
Yes, I would love to be able to have a series and standalones, simultaneously. That would be amazing.
Well, and see, they could be made into a movie. I mean, you're putting enough effort into it. I can see, I can see that as well. Actually, my book is in Hollywood right now being looked at.
Is it
so
really?
It's just
fantastic.
It's exciting, all the different things that happen. And mine is a true story. Mine is how I parented 3 parents going through dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's.
Oh my gosh.
So mine's
a
true
topic too. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And I totally admire people that can write mysteries and in the totally out of their fantasies, and I'm definitely a fantasy person. So I love those kind of mysteries.
Yeah, I had the mystery for me, just that kind of element of surprise is wonderful. And it was a staff pick at Book People in Austin. So one of the things they commented on was, somebody make this a TV series, which I thought was just, when I read that, that made me so happy.
Yeah, well, you need to.
I don't
you
know
need
that it'll ever come to that, but the fact that that someone there enjoyed it was that much was it made me smile for sure.
Yeah. Well, you need to think about that, and get your publisher, on that side of it, because I think you do have something.
Oh, I appreciate saying that.
Maybe it's when you get to the end, end of your series, then maybe what do you know? It might be a sitcom. might be a show on, one of those shows that has a little sitcom on Hallmark or something, or well, maybe not Hallmark, because it's
probably not.
Probably a little. Although there is that murder mystery. Every time I watch, the show,
probably a little bit. It's probably a little. I would say it's traditional mystery, but it's probably a little
better for the big
screen. It might be a little
screen.
dark for Hallmark, but.
It'd be better for the big screen.
Maybe so.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about your family. You said you had twin boys.
I do. I have twin boys who are currently taking driver's ed. And
God bless
all
you.
Of you parents who have been through this, no, they're actually doing pretty well. It's a lot. Anytime you have multiples, doing anything major, these big milestones, it's a big deal. So I have my daughter who just graduated from high school and will going to be going to UT in the fall. So extremely proud of her. She's done really well. So yeah, I've got 3 teenagers in the house.
And what landed you up in San Marcos?
Like I said, I was an Air Force brat growing up. I ended up at Texas State. I met my husband here. We were both late for biology lab the first day. And it just kind of worked out that way. And he had grown up here mostly in the area, and I had been at that point where I had moved around so much. I really wanted a place to plant roots and love this area. It's a beautiful area. So that's how I came to stay here. So.
And writing's been with you your whole life, or?
It really has. I didn't notice it. I guess I didn't think about it, immediately. But I was always writing things in journals, writing things on scraps of paper. There was a point where, working in technology, I was the one who offered to write the technology manuals. Nobody wants to do that, but I was like, yes, I'll do that.
Doesn't even sound like fun.
People are like, no, you have that. That's fine. And I've always loved to put things to paper, and so. Going from nonfiction to fiction was a big leap because there are so many ways to tell a story, and so that takes some time. The only way to do it is just to keep practicing it, keep putting it on paper, and understanding how to handle the structure and how to handle the points of view and those kind of things. So for me, the magazine work I've been doing for quite a while and really enjoyed it. This was just a completely different discipline for me.
Okay. Well, we've been talking with Laura Oles of Daughters of Bad Men, and this is Charlotte with Texas Blog Texas. And remember, you can get all the Texas authors' books on bookstexasauthors.com. And this is Charlotte Canyon saying, y'all have a great evening.
After his mother is murdered, teenager Scott Harold with his feisty new girlfriend Jessie uncover an illegitimate past that leads them to the Oval Office. Will they reach the president before the killer gets to them? Identity Check, a thriller by author Rich Allen. Available in print or Kindle at Amazon.com.
With only 2 golden rings, 10 days worth of supplies, and the guidance of an old redwood tree, Toby and Cameron Hunter begin the journey of a lifetime. Get your copy of The Guardian by L.M. Nelson, available as a paperback or an ebook at your favorite bookstore now.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website at indiebeacon.com.